Have you ever heard someone on the news say, "The yield curve just inverted," and panic a little?
That phrase sounds scary and confusing. But by the end of this video, you'll understand it better than most TV pundits. Today, what a recession actually is, and the strange chart called the yield curve that keeps predicting them.
No boring textbook talk. Just me, you, and a piece of craft paper. Let's go!
Let's start simple. A recession is when the economy actually shrinks for a while. Instead of growing, businesses sell less, fewer jobs exist. Officially, many economists use a rule of thumb: 2 straight quarters, 6 months of the economy shrinking in a row. In a recession, you usually see layoffs rising, spending dropping, and businesses delaying big plans. It's a vibe shift, and it's painful. So obviously, everyone wants to know, can we predict a recession before it actually hits? Turns out, there's a strange clue hiding in plain sight. That clue comes from something you wouldn't expect: U.S. government bonds, called treasuries. When you lend the government money for, say, 2 years versus 10 years, you get paid a different interest rate, called the yield. Normally, longer loans pay a higher interest rate. Makes sense, you're locking your money up longer, so you want a bigger reward. If you plot all these rates on a graph, from short-term to long-term, you get what's called the yield curve. Normally, it slopes upward. But every once in a while, something weird happens: short-term rates climb higher than long-term rates. The curve flips upside down. This is called a yield curve inversion, and it's one of the most watched warning signs on all of Wall Street. Why? Because an inversion means investors expect the Fed to cut interest rates in the future, which usually happens to fight a slowing economy. In other words, smart money is betting things are about to get rough, so the Fed will need to step in and help. And historically, this signal has been eerily accurate. A version of it has come before every single U.S. recession since the late 1970s. The most famous version compares 2-year and 10-year Treasury yields, nicknamed the 2s10s by traders. In 2022, this spread went deeply negative, one of the most extreme inversions in over 40 years. But here's the twist: the lag between an inversion and an actual recession is long and unpredictable, often well over a year. And it's not flawless. A couple of times in history, the curve inverted briefly and a recession never actually followed. So economists treat it like a smoke detector, not a crystal ball. It raises the odds, it doesn't guarantee the fire. There's a companion signal to the SOM rule, which watches the unemployment rate instead of bonds, for a more real-time read. When unemployment jumps quickly off its recent low, that's historically been a fast, reliable sign a recession has already begun. So why does the curve matter so much to regular people like us? Because borrowing costs, hiring, and stock prices all react to these signals. Banks lend short-term and borrow. Banks borrow short and lend long. An inverted curve squeezes their profits, so they lend less. That tighter lending can ripple out: fewer loans for homes, cars, and new businesses, which can slow the whole economy down further. So knowing about this curve isn't just trivia, it helps you understand why the news gets nervous months before anything visibly changes. So next time someone says the yield curve inverted, you'll know exactly what they mean, and why everyone's suddenly paying attention.
If this finally made sense, subscribe. I analyze the economy and financial markets this way every week. See you next time.